Back, Orange Bloods live here in southwestern Louisiana for the Manning Passing Academy. So a little bit different setup than usual, of course. Cody Carpentier, Alex Dunlap here live with you guys, and hopefully the sound is okay. We don't have our normal equipment, so you'll have to bear with us, but we do have takes. Because it is a Final Takes Friday. Please remember to like the show, subscribe to the channel. We certainly do appreciate that. Cody, so we're recording this before we go back out at 8 p.m. tonight for the Friday Night Lights, which is where we'll get to see all the counselors that have been out here at the event. Maybe we should kind of talk about what this event even is. Like, I didn't even know really much to say about it before. It was my first time here. Dude, it's like 1,400 campers, 60 different college football players that are counselors, and just operations staff that is This is an event, dude.
Yeah.
Your takeaways from getting in already like 12,000 steps today, just walking around this event.
I was gonna say the campus. I think when we showed up today, like, we knew the number of campers was going to be around that 1,400 mark. But when you show up, it doesn't really give you an idea until you show up and you see that they have 30 football fields set up, like 30 different sections that are sectioned off into football field size setups. And there's a lot of grass, and there's a lot of fences, and there's a lot of cops. There's a lot of event workers helping with Gatorade and just helping this whole thing work. And it's really cool to see. And I think Archie Manning said the thing that really the point of the event is to help the high school experience for these high school quarterbacks. There's also some pass catchers, some receivers and stuff out here. Really young kids too. It seems like there's like some 5th, 6th grader types out here, all the way up through high school. And then of course you got the collegiate quarterbacks, the Arch Mannings, the Trinidad Chamblises, and we'll get to see those guys do more tonight in the Friday Night Lights event. But mostly those guys are just coaching today, doing some dropbacks and helping these kids kind of just learn the game of football.
Any takes? Anything stand out to you? Just
CJ Carr.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
We saw CJ Carr today, the quarterback from Notre Dame. This guy, he just looks different. He looks like he's got a different level of moxie. He carries himself a little bit like he's been there, and he's kind of been there. But he went through the whole season with Notre Dame, and he's very under-discussed, I think, in the grand landscape of this 2027 class. If you know the name, and you know the quarterback. But I don't think in reality to the open media, to the general fan, his name isn't really included in that Arch, Dante Moore, Julian Saint conversation.
It is in the – I mean, I think he's the Heisman front-runner right now.
Correct. It switched up about a week and a half ago. But I'm saying from like the everyday fan that knows who Arch is, knows who Dante Moore is, knows who Julian Saint is, I don't think everybody quite knows who CJ Carr is quite yet. And I think that's going to change.
Well, it wasn't like we got to see the guy throw or anything, but what you do get to see is like you're walking around this thing, you walk by and you see like Connor Wegman at his station with his groups, and Cody and I, of course, were just walking around. We walked like 3 miles to just try and find Arch Manning just to see where he was. We finally found where he was at.
It took a damn hour.
It took a while, but as we were doing it, we saw like Wegman, and you see Kamario Taylor, and you saw the guy. We're like,
CJ Bailey.
We're gonna figure out who that tall guy is.
That's CJ Bailey. I found out later.
We figured out later. I guess you and I both independently figured out that that's CJ Bailey from NC State. We saw Kamar. Did I mention Kamario Taylor? We saw CJ Carr, Julian Saint, the kid from his name's like Ian something.
Ian Rodriguez from Nichols.
Yeah, from Nichols, and you get to watch them all. And of course, we got to see Arch. I think that we saw Damon Williams.
Yeah, Damon Williams is a stout, compact guy.
But just when you watch these guys, and you can't really take much away from it, just because all it is the way that they're interacting with the campers and stuff like that. But dude, with CJ Carr, for me, what just stood out was he was out there acting like he was one of like the Eli Mannings or the Peyton Mannings, where he's like going through and he's getting his hands on guys and he's saying this, he's telling them turn your body this way, or like he's going out and running a route and showing what the routes look like. Whereas guys like, some of these other guys are kind of a little more chill with the way that they interact with these players. And I think that it just kind of says something about their personality. It's not good or bad or anything like that. I wouldn't say that. Say, Arch Manning, as you would figure, is a guy that's out there. He's a little bit more low key, talking to the campers, giving them little tips maybe between reps and stuff like that. Whereas, and it was the same with a lot of them. It's just TJ Carr was the one that was just different with the way that he was sort of handling himself there in that event. And it's not much, but I kind of think it's not nothing, and that's not to say it's anything bad. Like I said, it's nothing bad about ours, nothing bad about Kamario Taylor. It's just something kind of interesting about the personality of a guy like CJ Carr. I think he's going to be a player that whenever he gets into his interviews and stuff like that, he's for the draft stuff. I think he seems like a guy that's going to be pretty good. He seems like a very outgoing dude.
So since the last time we talked, speaking of final takes, we got a Lucas Roa commitment, the offensive lineman from Orange Lutheran in California. Neiman Lawrence, the quarterback out of American Heritage, who's up there at the opening. I kind of was like low-key a couple weeks ago, thought maybe Neiman Lawrence will be at the Manning Passing Academy. That would be a very cool place to commit to Texas at. He's not. He's obviously up at the opening with like John Meredith, Eastern Royal. But those two commitments came down yesterday. Potentially another commitment coming down this afternoon, maybe another one on Saturday, another one on Monday. We'll see. Lucas Roa, Neiman Lawrence. Do you have any final takes, any thoughts off of those two guys that committed in the last 24 hours?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. I feel like on this show we've been talking about Roa probably more than most people have.
For the better part of a month,
I keep on bringing him up, saying like, when you look at the anatomy of the class, if you can get Brian Swanson up there at the top, and eventually get the Ishmael Kamara, and then get like a Lucas Roa as like the top dude, who's kind of like one of these kind of foundational pieces. I feel like Lucas Roa is a type that
nationally he's not ranked. He's like below. I think he's like it's like Brian Swanson. I think it's maybe Jackson Cook, then him, then
because I think he's like on the Brian Swanson.
He's level. A 5'2" guy, can play all five positions.
Yeah, just really, really good on his feet, really good balance. I remember watching him, and I sent his huddle to Cody, and I'm like, Cody, have you watched this? And he's like, yeah, dude. And I'm like, dude, he's good. Yeah. And Cody said like he had a really good write up on him too. Good balance, good feet, really good drive, natural and instinctive with his leverage. He was one of these guys that if he would have gone somewhere else, I would have said, that's the kind of foundational piece that I wish Texas would have gone harder after. And that was during a point in time when it didn't seem overly confident that he would come to Texas. I went and looked at his rivals thing and had him with like 13% to Texas or something like this. So
13% chance to Texas?
Yeah,
that was about a month ago.
Yeah, like a month ago, whenever we first started talking about it.
Yeah.
It feels like things just kind of started to heat up a little bit, and just really good, dude. Just good athletic ball player with good feet, and a guy that doesn't get overextended.
I compared him to Jack Conklin coming out of Michigan State.
Oh gosh, what a comp!
That's a big first round pick. But I also had him. This one might be bad, but I do have him ranked in my overall rankings ahead of Landon Williams-Callis, who has gotten some predictions to Texas. The running back out of Randall, we've talked about before, as my running back too, and he's still below Roa. That's how high I think of Roa. He's a high gold level guy for me, borderline platinum.
I think. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, so
that's right here. I can show you it. He's literally 0.01 away from being a platinum player. And so for me, I mean, I don't have 1,000 guys ranked, but I got just about 200 guys total I've looked at, and he's just outside the top 50 right now.
Yeah. So, dude, I don't think you'll find a YouTube program or a radio program any higher than us on Lucas Roa. And you won't find one that sells its own seasoning either. Right. I've been away from home now for like 24 hours, and I already missed the Alpha seasoning that you can get at alphaseasoning.com. We have the Longhorn Dust. We have the Elite Spice Blend. We're down here in like the seafood capital of the world, and they do a good job with their seafood. They have the Creole, spices and all the rest of it. But honestly, if I had brought the Alpha Elite Spice Blend, I would go to the restaurant and say, use this on my fish. That's how good it is on flaky whitefish. It is amazing. The Longhorn dust is great on steaks, fajitas, ribs, whatever. They're all good on everything. AlphaSeasoning.com. It's Cody and I's own spice blend. We certainly appreciate you guys supporting us there. Of course, you can also pick that up over at Texas Beef Traders, our great partner. When we get back to Austin, Cody's going to stop by Texas Beef Traders and take it back home with him. Because, Cody, there's nothing that you can get in South Carolina quite like what you can get from Darren and the boys over there in Lakewood.
Publix don't quite do it for me.
No, not after Texas Beef Traders.
Don't quite do it for me. I'll go get my salmon and stuff from Costco and whatnot, but as far as the beef goes, it doesn't quite do it for me.
Of course, you get 10% off when you tell them that you heard about them here on Orange Bloods. All right. So
there was a
2028 quarterback.
There was a 2028 quarterback, Neiman Lawrence, that committed from American Heritage. He's transferred a couple times.
Another American Heritage.
He transferred up from, so he hasn't played at American Heritage yet.
He was at
Miami Everglades,
and
then I think Miami
Northwestern.
And now he's going to Heritage to replace Badia Bell.
So it's interesting because Miami Northwestern, the year before he got there, won the state championship with Teddy Bridgewater as their coach, right?
Yeah.
And then what happened was Teddy Bridgewater tried to solicit money from the public or whatever for the extra money. He came out of pocket to spend, giving kids Uber rides home, stuff like this. And
allegedly,
no, I mean he said he. So Teddy Bridgewater alleged that he did this.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And so at a certain point, I think he was suspended or whatever. But Teddy Bridgewater wanted him to be the quarterback there. Even so much to where there was a quarterback battle between Neiman Lawrence and the quarterback at the time who was a junior. I forget his name, the one that won the state for him the last year. And I think it turns out, you have to check me on this, but I do believe that quarterback actually, due to that quarterback battle, he actually transferred from Miami Northwestern to American Heritage. So where Neiman Lawrence last year played at he'll be playing this year at American Heritage, but last year not coached by Teddy Bridgewater at Miami Northwestern. And that quarterback, I can't find his name right now, the one that was the older one. But he's obviously good enough. I mean,
he's transferring up another division, by the way. So it's been up a division each time, from 3A, I think, to 5A, now to 6A.
He can sling it, dude. Keeps a good sturdy base. Good, strong. One of these just good, natural kind of slingshot arms. Think he moves well enough. Good touchdown to interception ratios in college. Massive yardage. He can run a little bit. What is his exact height?
6'1", 210.
Yeah, I was gonna say not quite the tallest.
But he plays like a taller guy,
right,
in Jaden Daniels. So I think from a delivery perspective, that over the top kind of thing, and it's pretty accurate. Reminds me of Jaden Daniels. I commented that on Orange Bloods, and Ketch said Jalen Daniels.
Well, he says Jalen Daniels just because of the body type.
Yeah. Well, Jalen Daniels also carries a lot more weight in the bottom half.
But Jalen, to me, when I look at Neiman, when I look at Neiman, he looks like he has like a much higher BMI than a Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Ketchum means, is like the BMI difference.
I'm looking at the delivery and the quarterback. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a lot to look at, right? And if you invoke, I just think if you invoke Jaden Daniels, people just think real skinny. You know,
I mean, he's kind of skinny, but no, I mean, if he gained 2 inches of height and he was 205 pounds, I think he would look like that. But nonetheless, they get their quarterback for 2028 to kick things off, the 2028 class. You know, in the war room on Thursday, Ketchum kind of made a big point in saying that, like, this staff has made a point in trying to get this 2027 class sealed and delivered before the season, so their focus can be on being all in on the 2026 season, which, as we're seeing, it seems Ketchum said, you can attest this more than I, Ketchum said that this is the most all-in he's seen a Texas team in half a generation.
Half a generation, which means how long is half a generation?
35, 50, 35, 40 years.
Oh, a generation's 100 years?
I mean, I suppose a generation is probably, one human. You know, the average life expectancy is what, 78?
I don't know. I guess I've just always thought of a generation as being like more like more like like Gen X is a generation, millennials is a generation.
Oh, so you're thinking like a 10, 12 year.
Yeah, so half a generation is not that much.
Yeah, I think half a generation. I think of like a 78 years as a person. That's a whole generation. Half of that's 35 years. So in the last 35 years, he's never seen a Texas team more all in than this 2026 team.
Well, here I think you're probably right about that general timeline, right? You couldn't be more wrong, and like people in the comments are just going to roast you for this because there's no way that a generation is defined as 78 years. That's cocky.